Welcome to Endurance Noise Live. It is Tuesday, August 11th here in Bakersfield, California, 8:37 in the morning. And this is my very first YouTube Live. I plan on doing these Endurance Noise quite often, hopefully, and want to start things off by congratulating Harvey Lewis, ultra runner. Tracy Outlaw just posted that last night he completed the FKT from Badwater to the top of Mount Whitney. It's unofficial right now, but the Badwater 146 FKT should be his. He's now hiking down from the top of Mount Whitney. I always say that it's not really 146 miles, it's 157 because you got to get back to your car or to the portal. Previous record by Marshall Ulrich was set in 1991 in 33 hours, 54 minutes, and it's held for 29 years. I said Harvey is in great shape at Lone Pine at 122 miles. Made it to the portal in about 4 hours. And this left him with less than 7 hours to do the last 11 miles. And that's about as fast as I've ever done it. I've done Whitney half a dozen times. Quickest I ever did it was with my friend Allison, went up in 7 and down in 6. So definitely a stout record. Of course, I didn't do 135 miles in the desert beforehand. It was definitely, he was raising, when he got to the portal, his crew told him that they'd achieved their goal of $2,500 for the City Gospel Mission. They've raised over $7,000. In addition to this FKT, that was one of the two goals that he had. And then also Marshall Ulrich texted him and insisted Harvey call him. And I think he knew Harvey needed a boost. And Harvey and then Michael Jimenez, who's from California, headed on up. They said they had two pings, one at 33:39 and another one at 33:53. So we'll have to wait to see what the official time is. Of course, now they're coming down and safely come down. Definitely a great effort. So very excited to see that. And it said, if the baton is passed, this will mean the world to Harvey. He has the utmost respect for Marshall Ulrich. He appreciated the effort of Al Arnold, the first to do the 146 in 1977. He loves the place, and people like Ben Jones. Badwater has always been a favorite for him. So some great news. Of course, yesterday came on the heels of some sadder news. The Tahoe 200 is not going to be happening this year, with the whole COVID thing. And it basically, yesterday I saw that that Candice posted on the Tahoe 200 Facebook page. It says, "It's with a heavy heart that we write to you today. We have exhausted every possible avenue for holding the Tahoe 200, 100K, 25K races. And after speaking with the Forest Service today, I'm sorry to inform you that they have decided not to allow our event this year." So definitely sad news. Then on to some other news, like Tahoe 200. I crewed there in 2016 and 2018. 2016, my good friend Carla Kent, who I've done many multi-day races. She's been on the Czech national team in 24 hours, holds quite a few national records. And we've done many looped flat races. And then out of the blue, she signed up for Tahoe 200 and was looking for a crew. And I actually crewed and paced her pretty much solo. Had a lot of help with people because I had to shuttle cars around. In fact, our friend Stephanie DeVoe, the slow antelope, came out and helped me. But I ended up doing 80 miles of the race out there. Tahoe is a great event. It's really great because as a crew, you can always get to the city or to Tahoe in 10, 15 minutes from all the trailheads. And I highly recommend people doing the race if you ever get a chance. I mean, it's a race that I would actually do. I could actually run on the course at night without too much fear. Beautiful race. And so it's sad to see that one's not going to happen. And then in 2018, I helped Debbie do it. She's been going for the 7 summits around the world, and she's done 4 or 5 now. And that year, though, they did the course in reverse, which was really confusing. So here's hoping that in 2021, we will have that happening. And I think it hopefully will. It was interesting going through here. Like I said, the Tahoe 200 being canceled and lots of other races not happening. Then I was also seeing, speaking of it, it says Hanson Project, who I often retweet, says, "I'm a coach, a business owner. This means that I want all sports to resume at 100%. I want all businesses back open to full capacity. I want colleges and schools to have in-class teaching. Here is the problem. My individual wants should not be part of the solution. Safety comes first." And yeah, that definitely is an issue. Sorry for a little bit of distraction here. I'm trying to figure out how to use the camera and read off of my screen. I've got like the camera's on my laptop, screen's on my big screen, and I kind of did a little bit of show notes just so I don't get things completely wrong. And then some music news because, why not? Endurance Noise, I myself owned a record store for over 20 years. And on this date in 1983, the Chameleons released their debut album, Script of the Bridge. So it's a great record. Really miss my record store days. I had a record store from 1987. Andy Noise, a record store from 87 to 2006. And that's why my website's andynoise.com. I used to have it as my record store, and now it's where I put all things endurance related. So if you want to follow along, I'm on Twitter and Andy Noise, Instagram, and of course Facebook. And then I wanted to go on and talk about an article that I recently saw, a little bit of endurance noise. And then this one was, when does recovery become more important than training? And this was a Training Peaks article, and basically talking about that it's not uncommon for coaches to have to reel their athletes in rather than push them to perform. So the question remains, when should you prioritize recovery over training? My gosh, I can't talk today. It's funny. I started my coaching career in 2006, been running since 79, and I've worked with people over the years, but formal coaching. My oldest son went to high school. He entered high school in 2006, and he was 6'2" and weighed 140 pounds. And I thought, well, he's not much of an athlete, but let's get him running. Turned out to be a good runner, but I ended up coaching cross country and track for 3 years at Bakersfield High. And then in 2009, I started the Bakersfield Distance Project and started coaching adults. And why I bring this up is that with high school kids, we had half a dozen motivated kids. Usually the varsity was pretty motivated, but the rest of them, you had to really kind of kick in the pants to get them to do anything. And it was it was interesting when you coach in high school kids, you had to push them. And when I was coaching adults, I had to hold them back. And that's kind of how I came up with my philosophy of stay healthy, be boring, not epic, is I had people come into run camp Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And then they were going to spin classes like Monday and Wednesday. And then they were doing boot camps. And so they were just going too hard too often. And that's not the way you're going to get better. So it talks about here, 2 of the best indicators for readiness to train are mood and motivation. Before embarking on a new season or a large block of training, be sure your athlete's mood and motivation are stable and ready state. Now, that's another big issue with a lot of people, especially you people who start later in life. You don't have seasons. Here in California, you really don't have seasons because, heck, we don't have, bad weather. Weather's great year-round. Though I often say that, like, my friends who live in Canada and people who live back east, that the winters are kind of our off-season because it's just too cold and dangerous to really train. And so I say my off-season is right now, the summer. This is when I'm doing the base work. I'm putting in hiking, and I'm not racing because even though I'm good in the heat, I'm not interested in running the heat. It's just not fun. So that's one thing before, to get your motivation stuff is actually have seasons. Take some time off from racing. You don't have to race constantly. Switch it up too. High school kids run cross country in the fall, well, used to, and then track in the spring. And of course, now this coming year, they're going to be running cross country in the winter and then track in the spring. So they're going to kind of compact it. But, yourself, I would say, do some hiking, trail running in the summers, maybe some road marathons in the winters. And then the spring, just mix it up. It will make you a better all-around runner. As we were talking with Adam the other day on my podcast, we were talking about that you're a runner, meaning you run all surfaces, all terrains, and just enjoy it, So creating a positive goal-oriented environment for the athlete can help their physical and emotional status throughout an injury, and that's a big thing. You'll see that with professional sports. They keep the athletes around, not only just to use the facilities and stuff, but to keep them as part of the team. And, you've got to have a plan. Here's how we're going to get you back to health. If you've been watching me on YouTube, I've been showing you with the swim tether how you can run in the pool and use it as a swimming device. And those are some cross-training things that if you're having some injury issues, you possibly can get doing that. After my fall, I couldn't walk, but I picked up the kettlebell and I picked the medicine balls and I even bought a bike. You can see it behind me here. And I rode it a little bit just to get outdoors. Thanks to my friend Scott, who suggested, hey, you need to get outside. Right now, I do have it on a trainer. So So when you do have an injury, most importantly, allow the athlete's pain to guide your flexible recovery plan. If it hurts, I always say, if it hurts to run or you don't want to run, walk. If it hurts to walk or you don't want to walk, take a break. And then after a while, if you don't want to walk or run, maybe it's time to find another sport. And it also continues on. Quite possibly the most important barometer in knowing whether the athlete is ready to train is their environment. And this is definitely the case. If your life is crazy and hectic with work, school, family, then that might not be the best time to train for some major event, whatever it is. Pick a season that's not as crazy. When I was coaching the Bears Resistance Project, I had a lot of teachers as athletes. And of course, this time of year is not a good time to train because they're getting ready for school. And next year it's even more difficult because they got to be teaching online. So it says, it's essential for us to notice when the bucket is full of other things, work, family, social events. Let's take the holidays, for example. Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like, don't really plan a big race in January or February, especially if you got large family. You got to deal with Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that comes. And then, of course, all the eating and all that stuff. It says, when the bucket begins to overflow, we must pull back. If not, the athlete will become overwhelmed, exhausted, and lose motivation. And then, of course, with recovery and training, there's some things that are non-negotiable. These factors must be healthily attended to before an athlete takes on a heavy training program. These include nutrition, sleep, stress, and movement. These play a role not only in an individual's life, but also in the readiness to train. You definitely got to take care of yourself. Our diet helps the body repair tissue and balance energy through the day. Athlete does not have a positive relationship with food or a balanced diet. Many factors associated with readiness to train will be impaired. And you're seeing that more and more on social media where some really good athletes are coming out and saying, hey, I was messed up with nutrition and health and not eating properly, not eating enough carbohydrates. And you've got to fuel to compete and fuel to train. And then, of course, another great performance enhancing drug almost is sleep is the best recovery as it releases hormones that help the body adapt to the previous day's training. And I'll tell you, I don't sleep a lot, just genetic thing. Past couple nights of sleep, 3-4 hours. Do take some naps, but I'll tell you, I can actually feel my body almost repairing itself, kind of like one of those action heroes, like power up and then ready to go, like I did this morning, up at 5:30. Got in a 60-minute fast-paced walk, did my kettlebell routine, and then just got on the treadmill and had a really good Swift. In fact, I just got another record. So very exciting. And then, of course, you've got training stress, life stress, but stress is stress, regardless of whether it's served by training or from a personal source. So you're doing hard training, life's going to have to settle down and vice versa. So that's some stuff that I just saw on here. Again, I want to congratulate Harvey Lewis on what should be an FKT. Wish him safety getting down off the mountain. And as always, stay healthy, be boring, not epic.